Hello students, lesson the crucial role of adaptive capacity. The main objective of this lesson are to define the adaptive capacity and its role in IPCC vulnerability framework, identify determinants of adaptive capacity across economic, social and institutional domain, distinguishing building adaptive capacity from delivering adaptation actions. And the fourth objective is to evaluate adaptive capacity variations in agriculture, water and urban sectors. Besides that, the fifth objective is to apply adaptive capacity concept to climate vulnerability assessments and policy. So, let us start the discussion. The adaptive capacity of societies and ecosystems are the major determinants of how far climate change translates into actual damage or into manageable, even beneficial change. Vulnerability and adaptability understanding. Adaptability capacity is a prerequisite for explaining why some regions, sectors and communities remain trapped in climate risk while others adjust, innovate and build resilient futures. The first is adaptive capacity within the vulnerability framework. Students, in IPCC report, vulnerability has been defined as combination of exposure, sensitivity and adaptive capacity. Adaptive capacity is seen as the factor that may minimize total vulnerability for a certain level of climate hazard. Adaptive capacity refers to the potential, capability or ability of a system, region or community to respond to climate stimuli, mitigate possible damage, capitalize on opportunity or manage the repercussions. In reality, this means that two populations that are exposed to the same hazards are sensitive to the environment, may be affected in very different ways depending on how easily they can get resources, institutions, knowledge and technology. The situation is closely linked to the preceding discussion in the course material on the difference between biophysical vulnerability, how sensitive ecosystems and physical systems are, and social vulnerability, how socio-economic, political and institutional conditions affect people. Later, vulnerability was redefined to mean susceptibility to harm and the ability to cope and adapt. This put adaptive capacity at the center of risk reduction once more. This change means that making adaptive capacity stronger is not only an extra step in climate change policy and planning, but also it is a key approach to lower risk and achieve climate resilient development. Adaptive capability is multifaceted, arising from the interplay of ecological, social, economic and institutional elements across several dimensions. The literature points to economic resources, technology and knowledge and skill, infrastructure, institution and governance. The social capital as the most important factor that affect how individual and systems react to climate stress. Economic resources, stable jobs, savings, access to finance and insurance, and the opportunity to invest in climate resilient technology help people, farms and business diversify their income and recover more quickly after extreme weather events. Households and low income workers in unorganized sectors and small farmers are usually least resilient because they do not have any financial safety nets and it costs them more to adopt new practices. Having the right technologies such as drought resistant crop, improved ways of irrigation, early warning systems, flood protection measures and climate smart building designs make it easy to deal with and react to climate related changes. But the availability and expansion of technology generally vary a lot across the society, which makes technology the chief causal factor determining the difference in how well people can adapt between and within regions. Knowledge, information and a skill. Climate literacy, risk awareness, technical training and traditional ecological knowledge all help individuals become more adaptable by changing how they see climate signals and how they can act on them. For instance, farmers that know how to examine seasonal forecast and manage water can better adjust when they plant, test our different types of crops or change how they use inputs as the weather changes. Institutions and governance. The level of institution at all level from local users group and panchayat to national planning agencies and international framework has a significant impact on adaptive capabilities. It is simpler to adapt when there are specific clear rules, property rights, public institutions that respond quickly, good disaster management systems and planning processes that are inclusive. But weak institution and corruption and non-inclusive governing practices can make it tough to adapt. Even money and technology are available. Now let me explain to you the social capital and network. Trust, reciprocity, community groups and horizontal networks are all types of social capital and networks that allow people to work together, help one another and communities information swiftly before, during and after natural disasters. Students, groups that are socially isolated such as migrants, marginalized caste groups or groups which are gender disadvantaged may not be able to adapt as well since they do not have access to public programs, loans, emergency support or political voice as easily. Therefore, it is important to note that adaptive potential is unevenly distributed throughout the society, further reinforcing the same pattern of inequality and exclusion. Gender, caste, class, ethnicity, age and health status determine who can use resources, make decisions and learn about hazards. It is easier for some people to adjust and tough for others. When it comes to climate policy, that signifies that making people more adaptable is both an issue of climate governance and social justice. Now let me explain to you the adaptive capacity of socio-ecological system. Students, climate resilient development needs to invest in both ecological restoration and social and economic capacity of communities at the same time. In this way, both can help one another and cope with changes in climate. In a community, adaptive ability is frequently shown by being able to change jobs, move around, have more than one source of income and manage shared resource like water, grazing land or woods as a group. In many traditional systems, people have lived with changing weather for a long time. This has led to local rules and practices like sharing water, growing a variety of crop, mixed farming and moving to different places during the year. These can be improved and combined with scientific knowledge to make strong adaptation strategies.